Now 4:30 on WKYT this morning, the Madison County coroner tells us a man's body was found in a creek after his car was swept away by floodwater.
Some business owners in Casey County had a lot to clean up because of flooding last night, what they're doing to make sure they can reopen tomorrow.
And people in Powell County braced for flooding as the Red River has continued to rise.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning to you and welcome to WKYT This Morning. I'm Bill Bryant.
And I'm Rebecca Smith. Welcome in. Let's check in now with Micah Harris for a look at our weather.
Well, our weather is better note. I mean, we're not still looking at any dry weather. We still have a few showers here and there, but for the most part, we're putting this into action. And what we see, the bigger picture, well, it's really for the far southern zones at this moment. There is some moisture creeping in from the south, and that's where you're getting those showers over the far southern zones. Whitley County, McCreary County really getting the brunt of it, and also sitting there Monticello and Powersburg as you work your way into Wayne County. Temperatures are in the 50s. It's much cooler than what you have felt the past couple of days. 65 degrees today. Few showers here and there, but this is your day to take advantage of because the rest of the week we have more rain in the forecast. And I'll show you that coming up.
All right, we'll see you shortly, and thank you. And new this morning, the Madison County coroner tells us that a man's body was found in a creek last night.
Search and rescue crews pulled a car from a creek on Paint Lick Road near Berea yesterday afternoon. Crews searched up and down a nearby creek for most of the day, and the coroner said a man was located in the creek at about 11:30 p.m. The name of the man has not been released. An autopsy is scheduled for later today. Well, this morning, some businesses in Casey County have a mess to clean up because of flooding.
This eyewitness video shows what US 127 looked like in Liberty yesterday afternoon. At one point, the road had to be shut down. Some businesses at a nearby shopping center flooded. And for one of them, this came during their busiest time of the year. Monique Blair continues our story.
My husband called me and said, "You better be getting your stuff out of there." And I said, "Well, I'm doing a tax return."
April 14th, probably not the most ideal day to have a mild disaster hit a tax prep store. But today, this H&R Block in Liberty had to be evacuated and shut down as the heavy rainfall caused serious flooding.
It just looked like a river, a whole river all the way around us.
Franchisee owner Janice Atwood, along with about 100 volunteers, spent the afternoon pulling up floors, clearing out furniture, and cleaning up the several inches of water that poured inside the store.
This was our break room, and stuff was floating in here.
I'm standing in front of Green River right now in Casey County, and you can see it's still very high, but folks who live out here tell me this is nothing compared to what it looked like just a few hours ago.
As you can see the watermarks on my pants, it was knee-deep.
Add to the H&R Block store being flooded.
There was people living back here.
There were also apartments in the back of the building that had to be completely gutted once the rain stopped today.
This is the carpeting in one of the apartments, as you can see.
Atwood says she is staying positive because although there was significant damage, no one was hurt, and she didn't lose any of her important tax documents. And she plans to open bright and early tomorrow for her busiest day of the year.
I plan on in the morning having computers set up, servers set up, and ready to finish filing for deadline.
In Casey County, Monique Blair, WKYT.
Thanks, Monique. The Casey County Judge Executive declared a state of emergency because of the flooding. At least 5 businesses had to evacuate yesterday afternoon when the water got too high.
In some parts of the Bluegrass River, flooding is now becoming the biggest problem. The Red River in Powell County is expected to reach moderate flood stage. As Garrett Weimer tells us, that has emergency workers worried about homes near the river.
If you didn't know any better, you might think this is a lake. It isn't. It's the Red River. High water forced schools to let out early and closed several roads.
Be very cautious and very courteous. Of the water will do some tremendous things for you, and you don't want to be in it when it's actually moving pretty fast.
Emergency management officials say the tricky part here in Powell County is that the flood threat isn't over when the rain stops. They say water flowing down from the mountains continues to add to the water level. Take Maple Street here in Stanton, for example, which just 90 minutes ago you could drive through. The National Weather Service forecasts the river to crest at 21.5 feet. 23 feet is major flood stage.
Well, 23 feet is actually where it could possibly get in some residents. So we're looking at 2 feet under of what we're looking at, quite a bit of damage that actually floods houses and in places.
The county saw similar flooding just a week and a half ago. Sparks says he hopes folks continue to treat high water as a dangerous situation. In Powell County, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
People in Franklin County also keeping a close eye on rising waters. The Kentucky River in Frankfort expected to rise above flood stage tonight, or Thursday night, I should say. Water from heavy rain in eastern Kentucky now moving downstream towards Franklin County. Emergency management asking folks living near the river to get ready.
Going from 11 feet to 31 feet, that's a 20-foot rise in 2 days, and that is outside the norm for us. So everybody needs to pay attention to what they're doing. Be prepared if you live in low-lying areas, in flood-prone areas, and let this go up, and it'll go down by the weekend, and surely things will get better.
Emergency management says that Benson Valley Road and Stony Creek Road are some of the first roads to flood near the river.
Some parents in Lincoln County were demanding answers after a school bus drove through high water. We received a picture of the Lincoln County bus crossing Harris Creek Road yesterday with the road covered in water. Parents wanted to know why, so we asked Lincoln County school leaders. They say the driver didn't see the water in time and quickly realized the road was too narrow for him to turn around.
Lack of visibility. Like I said, when you've had your windows fogged up and you can't see, you're backing into an area that you're uncertain of.
Through a statement released by Lincoln County Schools, the driver said the water was not moving and he was confident he could drive the bus through it safely. Some students were on the bus at the time, but no one was injured. Lincoln County Schools dismissed early yesterday because of flooding.
Well, we have an update this morning on a Lexington man badly injured when a tree fell on his tent. Leaders at UK Hospital tell us Bryan Carlson has now been released. This was such a tragic story. On April 3rd, investigators say he was camping with his wife, Kathy, and their 3 children at the Natural Bridge State Park in Powell County. A storm knocked a tree onto the family's tent. Kathy was killed. The children were not injured.
A mudslide in Floyd County forced some families from their homes yesterday afternoon. That happened near the David community. Emergency crews say the mudslide started around 9 o'clock in the morning and hasn't stopped since. One woman says she was at work when her parents told her what was going on.
My mom called about 2 o'clock and said, "I don't want you to be alarmed or anything," which of course alarmed me. And she said, "But the rescue squad's here, we have to evacuate."
Emergency crews say they are asking people who live in that area to stay away until all of the mud can be cleared. They're not sure how long that will take.
Well, dispatchers tell us a Menifee County road is still closed this morning after a massive boulder fell yesterday. The boulder, which is larger than a pickup truck, shut down Highway 1274 near the Rowan County line. No one was injured when it fell. Road crews say heavy rains caused the boulder to fall. Crews used an excavator to break up the boulder into smaller pieces so those could be hauled off. But that's just the first step.
It appears that the road is damaged underneath the rock. You can see some holes in the road. When we get the rock moved, we'll be able to assess it more.
At last check, the highway there, 1274, was still closed.
Another rock slide closed an eastern Kentucky road yesterday afternoon. This eyewitness picture shows Highway 699 in Leslie County. You can see rocks all over the road. And of course, if you have eyewitness pictures, we'd like to see them as well. Just look for the eyewitness tab at WKYT.com or post them on our Facebook page. The time this morning is 4:39, and WKYT this morning, we're just getting started.
At what age should kids be allowed to stay home alone? Moms Every Day has some guidelines after the break.
More rain in the forecast, especially for south and southeastern Kentucky. Flood warnings continue. We're really going to dive deep into this forecast coming up next.